Hi, it's Ken Stone. I'm the founder of the Resonance Experiment, and I am so excited to share this interview with you. May it inspire you and support you in coming to a deeper understanding of what resonance means to you. Hi, it's Ken. I'm here with Dr. Bruce Lipton. Bruce is an internationally recognized leader in bridging science and spirit, stem cell biologist, best-selling author of The Biology of Belief, and recipient of the 2009 Goy Peace Awards. He has been a guest speaker on hundreds of TV and radio shows, as well as keynote presenter for national and international conferences. Bruce, welcome to the Resonance Experiment.
Ken, I am honored to be here with you because I so believe in your message and your view of helping us evolve, because obviously the world's in a very strange situation, and we're in evolution, and the evolution is completely grounded in your understanding of resonance and vibration, and that's where the seed of this revolution is coming from.
Oh man, it's an honor to be with you. I'm grinning even more ear to ear, if that were even possible, with your enthusiastic embrace of the Resonance Experiment. I'm so interested to hear from you. What does resonance mean to you, Bruce? Well,
for most of my professional career as a medical school scientist, researcher, and teacher, I held the conventional belief of medicine that it's a Newtonian universe, meaning 10,000 years ago, people even in that time knew there were two realms to the universe, the physical realm that they were physically experiencing and some invisible energetic realm. And we today would refer to that energetic realm in the old terms of spirit. And when Newton introduced the concept of that we now refer to as Newtonian physics, it was a separation of the universe. Well, previously, let's say the animists 10,000 years ago, like Native Americans or Aboriginals in Australia, Druids in Europe, they were very familiar with both realms existing at the same time and involved with each other. But when Newtonian physics came down, it separated the realms, and it said the invisible realm and the material realm are two separate realms, and that they don't interact with each other. So basically it says your body is a physical thing, and the only thing that can affect your body are physical things, and the energetic realm, the invisible realm, was left out in our modern physics of the way the world is running today. So we look at the material realm and basically ignore the so-called invisible realm, and this is why biology and medicine is so tied up with the physical things such as genes and proteins and hormones and chemicals and all that, and yet medicine really doesn't offer much about mind, consciousness, spirit, because it recognizes that those invisible realms, mind is there, but it's invisible realm, it's not material, that the invisible realm doesn't affect the physical realm. So medicine is left out. The entire energy spectrum of the universe, separating it from matter. Well, this was what I was involved with, this is what I was teaching. And then back when I was having my researcher's midlife crisis, and I started to realize that my research that I was doing did not conform to the information I was providing medical students about how life worked. The cells in my laboratory did not perform at all in regarding to the rules that I was teaching. That there was a new insight that I was gaining, and to further that insight, I realized I had to read physics. And you say, well, I'm a biologist, and all of my peers, my colleagues, all of us were trained with Newtonian biology. So the biology we were doing was physical biology, everything, chemicals, drugs, and molecules. That's what we did. And then I said, well, I got to look at quantum physics. And the reason is very simple, and this is profoundly important, that science is like a multi-tiered building, and that each floor on a lower level is supporting the floor on a higher level. So I say if I looked at the building, I'd say at the bottom of the building is mathematics, a floor of mathematics. Then there's the next floor above mathematics is physics. As a matter of fact, when Newton was creating Newtonian physics, he first had to create calculus, which was no small feat, to create physics. And so it's interesting because first the math, and then from math you build physics, and then from physics, comes chemistry. And the next floor above chemistry is biochemistry, biology. And the next floor above that is psychology. And why is this relevant? And this is so profoundly important, that when a floor in the building, a lower floor, changes its understanding of the universe, every floor above must incorporate those changes. So I say, why is it relevant? Well, Newtonian physics said our universe is a material and an energetic one, and they don't interact. And in 1925, physicists adopted quantum physics. Now, quantum physics doesn't negate Newtonian physics, but imagine this. Quantum physics is a giant field of study in which inside is Newtonian physics. So Newtonian physics is a small part of a bigger physics, and quantum physics is what's the relevance, and now we finally get Bruce to talk about why resonance comes in here, is that when you understand quantum physics and you recognize this, that the reality that we are experiencing of this material realm is an illusion. And in fact, that's a quote from Einstein. Reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. That's a quote. And it says, what does it mean? It says this: we have perceived that there's a physical realm separate from an energetic realm, but that's an illusion because the things that we perceive as physical, the things that we perceive as physical are energy, and invisible energy. And I say, well, you mean like my body is made out of energy and it's invisible? And I go, yeah. And I say, well, how come I can see you? And all of a sudden he goes, it's a trick of the light, meaning when a photon of light hits a high energy field, it will be deflected and sent back. So when the light's on, the photons hit the energy, which are the atoms. Atoms are energy. There's nothing physical inside. We say, oh, protons, electrons, and neutrons, but this is where quantum physics entered the realm when they said, so, okay, what are those particles of the physical atom made out of? What makes an electron or a neutron? And they started to find out it was energy vortices like nano-tornadoes, that there was no physical particle. They were just these little vortices of energy. And the relevance about it was, oh, my God, the atom is made out of energy. Yeah, there's nothing physical in it. And I said, yeah, but then when we see our physical appearance, I go, well, that was the illusion of light, where the light is bouncing off the energy and reflecting back. You can't see a human body in the dark, mainly because it's energy. It's transparent. You can't see it. But when the light is on, it bounces off the surface like a veneer of photons. And underneath all that is energy. And so why is Lipton going so deep into this, Ken, is because
I love it.
The atoms are not physical. An atom is an energy vortex. An atom spins like a tornado. And as it spins, it gives off ripples like waves in a pond. And these ripples are energy waves. Every atom is giving off light and energy. And every atom is absorbing energy. What's the point? I say, oh, here are two marbles. One, marble B. Look, they're here next to each other. I separate them. We say, oh, wow, you've separated this stuff. And I go, the illusion of separation, because the atoms are making up each marble are energy vibrating, sending out ripples like on a pond. And guess what? I might move the two marbles apart, but the ripples are still interacting with each other. And so there's no separation. And you go, so what does that mean? It's like, oh, my God, get to the clearing point, and here it is. Everything is made out of energy. The human body, every atom is a vortex of energy. Every atom is radiating ripples of energy called vibration in the field. The vibration, the cycles of the vibration involve what is called resonance, the vibrational cycles. And I go, well, what's relevant? I say, everything is connected. Why? Because there's no barrier between energy, so the ripples of, I don't care how far apart you move something, the ripples are still connected. We're all connected. Everything in the universe is connected. Why? Because it's not physical. That's the illusion part. It's all energy, and energy is miscible with energy. So wherever there's energy, you're in the matrix, you're in a field. The word field is what? The energy in which it's like an aquarium. our energy bodies are inside an aquarium of other energy, like cell phone broadcast, telephone, television, radio, solar energy. All of this is part of this aquarium of energy called the field. And then I go, and there's this fabulous quote from Albert Einstein. The field is the sole governing agency of the particle. And I'm going to say it again. But remember, field is the invisible energy, the aquarium in which we're in. Particle is matter. Now let's hear the quote again. The field is the sole governing agency of the particle. Point, quantum physics, conclusion, absolute fact, is the invisible energy around us is actually shaping and influencing what we perceive as physical particles, that we are in resonance with the field around us. Our energy and the field around us are entangled with each other. And as we change our energy, we influence the field, and when the field changes its energy, it influences us. And all of a sudden you say, well, why is resonance important? And the answer is, it's communication. And I say, in the human body, in the Newtonian perspective, I say, what is communication? I say, oh, well, it's chemicals in the blood, such as hormones and emotional chemicals communicating with the body. Oh, it's the nervous system with the physical nerve cells touching each other, sending a message from one point to the other point. And that has been our understanding of how the body is holding itself together, communicating. The nervous system, the circulatory system connects the body with information. And I said, yeah, that's very Newtonian. It's all physical. What about vibration? What about resonance? A tuning fork sending alpha vibration. Well, look, that's what Einstein said. The tuning fork, the vibration, the field, the energy is the sole governing agency of the particle. And we are the appearance of particles, but we're influenced by every bit of resonance. And just to conclude on that, on a scientific level, there was a scientist at University of London Biophysics Department by the name of McClare, and he did the physics research, and he said, look, we know that cells respond to physical things like hormones and emotional chemicals and drugs. We know they respond to that. But we also now know that cells respond to vibrations, electromagnetic fields, that if you change the electromagnetic field, you can change the function of the cell. You can change the metabolic activity of the cell. You can cause a cell to synthesize DNA and divide. You can cause a cell to form a blood vessel or an eye. You can do all these things with electromagnetic fields. So his question, and this is why I'm bringing it up, given the fact that a biology system can respond to chemicals and respond to energetic fields, is there a preference? And it turned out when he did the analysis of the system, an energy signal is 100 times more efficient in communicating in biology than is a chemical signal. And it's infinitely fast compared to a chemical signal because the distance an energy signal travels in 1 second is 186,000 miles. In contrast, a chemical like a hormone going through the body, how far does it go in 1 second? I go, well, maybe 2 feet if it's flying, you know. And so I say, oh, which signaling is faster, energy or chemical? Oh, 186,000 miles per second energy and 2 feet per second chemical. It's like, okay, the efficiency and the speed of vibrational information and controlling the body by physicists is the most effective way of communication, which then supports everything that Einstein said. The field is the sole governing agency of the particle. The resonance, the vibration, the energy in the field is giving shape to matter. So the field definition is, here's the definition, real simple. The field, invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. That's Einstein's quote. I go, oh, interesting. Spirit, definition, invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. It's like, oh, my God. Quantum physics is providing the scientific foundation for what was observed but not understood as spirit. So you can use the word spirit, or you can use the word field. They mean exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's why when you go back to Einstein's quote, the field is the sole governing agency of the particle, replace field with spirit, and instead of particle, put body. The spirit is the sole governing agency of the body. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, is resonance important? Are you kidding me? It's everything.
So Bruce, I just want to, we've been talking in the experiment about divine resonance. We could say that's spirit resonance. So is it a bridge too far to say divine resonance is the beginning or the source of everything? Are we pushing this too far, or is this just a natural extension of what you're saying?
Yeah, it is natural. Let's explain it this way. There's, let's say you have a radio, and as you turn the dial, you go down the band. They call it the radio, AM, FM, the band.
Yeah.
And every time you turn the dial, it hits another frequency, and another frequency is another station, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now let's say, for analogy, the divine resonance is, let's say, the AM band.
Yeah.
And I go, then what? I say, as you turn the dial down, each human is tuned to a very, very narrow spectrum of that frequency, just a narrow one. Each human is receiving part of the field, a small part. And that's what makes us different. We're the stations on the radio, but the radio is called the divine resonance. And each human, this is why we can't exchange parts between people. And the reason is this. If I put my cells into your body, Ken, your immune system will say, not self, and the immune system will eliminate it. Right. And I say, well, why is it relevant? No two people have the same self. There's no two people where you can take the cells out of one person and put it into the other person, and the immune system will accept it as self. And I go, why is it relevant? I said, because each person is a unique entity. And I say, so where is that self? Where is that unique entity found? The cells have it, because if you put the cell in a foreign body, the immune system of that body will say, this cell isn't self. So right away, there's got to be a self that is recognized on a cell. Yeah. And this is the part that blew me away as a non-spiritual person when I started to understand the nature of the cell membrane as the nervous system, the skin of the cell. I also recognize this. There's a group of antennas called receptors, protein receptors. They're like antennas that read vibration. And they're called self-receptors. No two people have the exact same set of receptors. It's like a giant combination lock. Now, we can share some numbers in the combination lock between each other, but you can't get the whole thing. And excuse me. So when they want to transplant an organ, they look at the set of self-receptors on the donor and compare it to the set of self-receptors on the receiver. If there's enough overlap with some of the numbers are the same in that combination lock, then it's an acceptable donor. But if there's not enough overlap of the receptors, then that organ will not be put into that person, because the immune system will without any overlap, immediately destroy the foreign cells. So I say, well, we're recognizing identity, that no two people have these self-receptors. Now, just one step back and then one step forward, and it's amazing. One step back, biology is conventionally Newtonian physics and doesn't count the invisible energy and looks at the self-receptors, these proteins, as what makes two people different, which is true. But they say that, well, that's where the difference comes from. And I go, okay, that's a physical receptor and it responds to physical chemicals, fine. And I go, okay, wait, no, quantum physics. These receptors are responding to energy fields. Yeah. And no two people have the same set of receptors. No two people are receiving the same broadcast. And the fact is that this is the part that blew me away. So wait a minute. My identity is recognized physically as the receptors, but the receptors are receivers of a vibration. So my identity is not in the cell. My identity is the resonant vibration in the field that my cells have antennas to pick up and play me as a station different from you, Ken. You have a different set of receptors. And I go, and when the moment I saw this, because I was not spiritual, I was a mechanical biology, and I got into physics, saw this, and go, oh my God, I can't die. I'm not even in here.
Yeah. Awesome. Bruce, I am so full of love and gratitude and deep divine resonance for having sat with you and shared this time together, and so just wanting to acknowledge and appreciate your presence, your embodied resonance, the body of work that you are sharing out in the world, the voice, your perspective, all these beautiful things. I just want to express all of that and all the things I don't know how to say with language, but
hey,
very
Ken,
much communicate in silence, man. It's
Ken,
beautiful.
Ken, guess what?
Yeah.
We're on the same good vibes, baby.
We are.
It's good vibes. We're in constructive interference together here. We resonate the same.
We do. It's so beautiful. Bruce, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to be here. I really appreciate the audience, Ken, because everyone in the audience, just by definition alone, represents a cultural creative. Cultural creatives are people that are looking outside the box and saying, the answers in the box don't satisfy anymore. They don't work anymore. There's got to be different answers. And so, by definition, people listening to this are cultural creatives. They're saying there's another way. And so I'm so happy they're all there, because that's where our evolution is coming from.
To the cultural creatives.
Yes, every one of you in that audience, thank you so much.
Wow. Beautiful, Bruce. Thank you.
No, you're welcome, Ken.
If you're ready to participate in the resonance experiment right now, you could just follow the link on the screen and complete your registration. If you look below, there are links to additional interviews in this series, and I invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you'll be notified every time a new video is posted.